the struggle of tough, greasy messes on my stovetop. So I just freak, wipe, and I'm done.
When I'm frustrated with stubborn bathtub soap scum, I just freak, wipe, and I'm done.
Mr. Clean Freak delivers an innovative cleaning experience with a powerful, deep cleaning mist that starts working on contact to break down tough messes in seconds.
Just freak,
wipe, done.
Are you looking for a trusted partner who knows AT&T business inside and out? ABS Communications is an organization built on the premise that telecom solutions and working with companies like AT&T can often be complicated, and the customer needs someone to help them navigate through these complexities. They make complex simple. Whether it's helping maintain, manage, or secure your business, ABS Communications is here to help with all your business telecom and mobility needs. Their business was built with the goal of simplifying the process of connectivity for the customer and establishing a long-term relationship of trust through transparency and accountability. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. You can call Mark and the gang at 615-349-8588, or you can visit their website at abscomm.net. And remember, mention the McFarland Show to ABS, and you could get up to $250 in a Visa gift card for new ABS business customers.
Listen, you can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off.
Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now at 615-844-5600.
Alrighty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Tuesday afternoon to you. And yes, it is time for the McFarland Show.
For
the next 2 hours. Darren and Justin here with you. Devlin is alongside. We're back here in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. Our last show last week was on Thursday in Murfreesboro.
Yes, it was. Good time had by all.
We had a blast down at the GMC, Chevy, Buick
Absolutely.
of Murfreesboro.
Nice people.
Yeah, very nice people. Enjoyed the show. Thanks for everybody who stopped by and helped out. Had a lot of fun. Of course, Pat Sperduto and his son Cosmo were there.
Absolutely.
In the house. Had an appearance from the wife and son.
Yes.
Which that was the first time you had met them.
Yes, I called your lovely wife the lady from Facebook. Because to me, that's who she's been. Because I've never met her, and I see her picture all the time. With you, of course. On Facebook.
The lady from Facebook.
So I go, oh, you're the lady from Facebook. So wonderful to meet you.
I'm sure she got a kick out of that.
She thought that was rather funny. I'm glad she found it funny, because if not, that could have turned a whole nother way. So I'm so glad that the other Mrs. McFarland has a sense of humor.
She does. So good stuff. Yeah, we had a blast. Of course, Friday we were off. Yesterday we were off, and we're back at it. The rest of the week, we are going to be on this Friday, of course, following the Titans-Cowboys game at Nissan Stadium. That will be Thursday evening. Mm-hmm. It'll be the day before the Music City Bowl, Purdue and Kentucky, so there'll be a lot of folks from out of town. A lot of stuff going on in this town. And, of course, it'll be right before, the day before, the semifinals for the national or for the college football playoffs.
Yes.
Is to take place. Remember, that is on New Year's Eve. Yes.
The Music City Bowl is the appetizer. Yes.
I have told Bill Hancock that over the years it is dumb to play these on New Year's Eve. He clearly does not listen to me.
No.
The numbers have proven that it's dumb to play this on New Year's Eve, but here they are, back at it again, playing the semifinals on New Year's Eve. College football is important in this country. But you know what? Having a good time on New Year's Eve is also important to folks, and they have found out that while they thought they were invincible, it was their playoffs, and everybody will cancel their plans or adjust their plans on New Year's Eve to watch their games. They found out they were wrong.
Here's my issue with the college football playoffs and when it's played. I'm not a big person about New Year's Eve versus New Year's Day or whenever it is. My issue has been this. doesn't it seem like we selected the teams for the college football playoffs like last year at some point? It was at least 6 months ago when we found out the matchup, wasn't it? It wasn't. It
was not, actually.
It wasn't 6 months ago. It feels like it's been 6 months ago. This happens to me every year.
Yes.
Every single year, the college football playoffs roll around, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that when we selected these teams. I don't know how long ago, but so much happens. So much NFL happens. We select a Heisman Trophy winner. The NBA gets going. Christmas gets going. And next thing you know, you're like, what college football playoff? What happened? Oh, that hasn't been decided yet? Oh, that's right. That's right. It's been a while. It's just been a while. That's all I'm saying. It's been a while since we've seen Georgia. It's been a while since we've seen TCU. It's been a while since we've seen Michigan. It's been a while since we've seen Ohio State. It's been a while since we've seen these teams on the field. Ohio State, their last game is Michigan, right?
Yes.
When was that? Late November?
Yes.
Last weekend of November.
Yeah. It's been over a month.
Yeah, they were not in their conference championship game.
So we haven't seen Ohio State in a month.
TCU, Michigan, and Georgia were. So
yeah.
They played the first weekend.
So it's been
in
3
December.
weeks for them.
Yeah.
It's just a gap. It's just a bit of a gap. This happens all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, but they actually will play on Saturday, New Year's Eve. And so we'll get into all that. Bill Keene's going to join us at 3 o'clock, so we'll talk all things college football with him. Titans lose again. That's 5 in a row. And we'll do our top 10 rankings tomorrow. I suspect you will not have them in your top 10 anymore.
No.
You have officially punted them
from
the top 10.
Not going to be there.
In all seriousness, I'm not sure they're winning another game. I don't think they are.
I mean, it's easy to understand why anybody would think that. It's hard to pour cold water on that after losing to the Texans there. That game against the Texans is a game that they normally find a way to win, even when it's tough.
That's right.
They find a way, even if the team is lesser.
Yep.
And they play close. They play close all the time. They just find a way to win these. And they just didn't. They didn't win the game. Nobody was there to make the play. They were asking a lot at the end of the game there from Malik Willis. He wasn't able to give them a lot that they were asking for. Some of the play calling was questionable, yada, yada.
Again.
Yada, yada, yada.
I'll just keep saying it every week. I'm not in the business of firing coaches. It's not my job to do that. I've told people that for a long time. But, I'm also going to call a spade, and I've been doing it on the show every week. It's just not good enough. It just isn't.
I mean,
Todd Downing and the offensive coordinator. It's just not good. It's not good enough.
There's a lot of questionable things going on in the offensive end of the football. Just
not my job, but it's not good enough. It just isn't.
Quite understand.
It can be better. It can be a whole lot better.
And you know what's really disturbing about the Titans here is they used to have a formula, and that is if you can get Derrick Henry over 100 yards, you're normally going to win that game 9 times out of 10. And there have been at least 3 games I can think of. 2 for sure, but I believe 3 at least, where Derrick Henry is gone for 100 and they lose anyway. And so if Derrick Henry's going for 100,
not very often,
and you're losing,
stats prove that when he goes over 100, more times than not they win.
Yeah, but it's not work. Even that's not working anymore.
Yeah.
So if that's not working for you anymore,
you're in big trouble.
Then what do you got? You got nothing. You got L's. You got 5 L's is what you got. Yeah. 5 straight.
I'm not even sold on Dallas. The more I watch them, the more I kind of think they're a fraud. I would be shocked if they do anything in the playoffs. Well, they typically never do, so I don't know why I would be surprised. That's just kind of what they are.
Issues,
but but they're going to win. I mean, the Titans, they're just not capable of beating the Cowboys. They're just not.
Even if they were, I don't know if it would really matter because this game means a lot more to Dallas than it means to the Titans.
That's incredibly true.
I mean,
but they're not going to be. At this point, it doesn't look like they're not beating the Jags. They're just not.
Well, I'm not going to say they not going to beat the Jags. I mean, if you want to say that, that's fine. I'm not going to say they not going to do it. I'm just saying, it's going to be a struggle here. They're not just going to. But I'm not going to say they can't or won't beat Jacksonville. I'm not saying that.
Look, it's still very early, and you could say it's still a little strong to say this. I get it. This is stating the obvious. He's not ready. But the bigger question is is he ever going to be ready? Is he really going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL?
Talking about Malik Willis?
Yeah, I don't.
Man.
He looks like right now he is miles. And when I say miles, I mean hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles away from being a everyday starter in the NFL.
So
long ways away from home.
My thing with Malik Willis is this. At first, there were people in here saying that he can't even compete a pass to a wide receiver. Well, he's done that now multiple times. He threw passes to wide receivers on Saturday or whenever the game was. There were a lot of people say, well, he can't lead them on touchdown drives. He led them into the end zone. He got a touchdown drive. He is playing in a system that isn't built for him.
Yeah.
He is playing with 1.2 wide receivers on his football team in a system that isn't built for him. And, there's been questions about the offensive coordinator when Ryan Tannehill is playing, let alone when the backup quarterback is playing. Now, does that mean that Malik Willis is just going to be an all-star and we just don't know it yet? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that whatever we're seeing out of Malik Willis isn't all Malik Willis. He's got offensive line issues and 1.2 wide receivers. The other and the one of those wide receivers is a rookie himself in Treylon Burks, and the 0.2 is the rest of them. So he's got 1.2 wide receivers, an offensive line that is, and then he's got other, the offensive coordinator along with him. I'm just saying we're not seeing him on the best stage here.
I completely understand that. I'm saying right now it looks a little too big for him right now. It just does.
Does Ryan Tannehill look good when he's back there?
He looks
better.
He looks better than Malik Willis.
But what does that mean?
Wow, you're not going to sit here.
The bar is not.
You're not going to sit here. We've been doing this 3 months now. Have you ever heard me? Do I have the Ryan Tannehill fan?
No,
am I like, hey, Ryan Tannehill? Like Ryan Tannehill wasn't good enough either.
I'm just saying, who would look good right now?
I agree.
Back there in this offense.
Yeah, but you have to dig a little deeper because everything you said is correct. But they're just things right now. He looks overwhelmed. He looks like a rookie.
He looks
made
like a
3
rookie
starts.
in the National Football League.
He does, but you know what? Some dude named Purdy that nobody had ever heard of goes out there and he's just slinging it all around like he's a 9-year vet.
Well, what does he got?
It's not like everybody goes out there and looks the same.
I got you.
When it's the beginning, because sometimes it looks really good, right? It does. And I'm not saying that I expect Malik Willis to look really good. I'm saying right now he is a long ways away. And I mean a long ways away from being a starting quarterback in the NFL. He just is.
All right.
He just is.
Okay. I mean,
And it's not about for, I get it. The offensive, the same problems Tannehill, we don't need to do the checklist. We all know the checklist. The offensive line is an absolute disaster. It's awful, okay? The only
one
thing
guy
they
came through untouched.
They have one guy. It's Derrick Henry. If they have no Derrick Henry, they have nothing. Literally, this team could not score. They could not score any points. It would be completely over if they didn't have 22 in the backfield. They have no receivers. They've got some decent tight end options, but still, it's deeper than that right now, and he doesn't have a very good OC, so it's not very good play calling. So these are a lot of things stacked against a guy who's made 3 NFL starts.
Yeah.
But if you sift through all the muck, you sift through all that crap, it feels like Shawshank Redemption, crawling through the sewer lines to escape, which Malik probably feels like he's doing. There's still also a lot of where you look at him and you go, okay, this kid is right now a long ways away from being a starter.
I would like to see him on a better. I'm not going to, and listen, I'm not trying to make excuses for the kid or saying that he's going to be great. You'll see. Just wait and see. He's going to be fantastic. And we're all going to be so thrilled. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that this is a rough stage to judge this quarterback on. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is it's hard to see the real you in some of this, or whatever the real you could possibly look like on this particular setup. So,
some of you have been calling into the show already, and I think I need to say this, Devlin, like because of the rolling blackouts and all the
wasn't
power
that fun.
issues.
Yeah.
We just, for whatever reason, and we're obviously working on it. I say we. It's not me. Believe me, you don't want me working on it. It would never get fixed. But it is being worked on and addressed, and I just don't think we're going to be able to take calls today because for whatever reason, you can call in, Devlin can see you, we can see you, he can answer, and he can talk to you. But when you're put on hold and then we engage you for whatever reason, you don't hear anything anymore. And so we're working to address that. Like I said, I'm sorry, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get your reactions today. Already a bunch of you trying to call into the show. Hopefully it'll be up and running tomorrow because I know you got a lot on your mind, and we want to hear from you.
We do.
Because right now, this is what Sports Talk Radio is about, right? Even if it gets crazy, even if it gets really sideways and some of you are really, really mad, I get it. It's just part of it when things are going south. And right now, just things aren't good in this market, as we've been talking about for a while.
Yeah.
It's just not good. I went to the Preds game on Friday. It's just a game they shouldn't have lost.
Yeah.
And they got a point, but it's like, yeah, but all points are not created equally. It should have been 2. It was 1. And it's just not good enough on their end either. So there's a whole lot of frustration going on.
They got the Stars coming in tonight.
Yeah, tonight. The division-leading Dallas Stars, by the way. Mm-hmm. So,
29-6.
They're approaching the midway point of their season. It's getting dangerously close. And at some point, you are what you are, right? It's like, it's early. It's like, okay, the quarter bowl. And it's like, okay, third of the season. It's like, okay. When you get to the halfway point, it's like, okay, I'm not sure what's drastically going to change. The good news is they're within striking distance, and, they can get it turned around. But right now, like I said, they're getting dangerously close. Like, you can see the halfway point. Like, you're looking, and you can see it. It's still faint.
Yeah.
But the halfway point of the season is just up ahead. And once you get to the halfway point, it's like, okay, like either you're going to mash the gas pedal and things are really going to change, or they're not.
I was looking at the Predator Star matchup for this evening on one of the websites here, and it's got some of the leading players for each team profiled. And I pulled up a gentleman, a left winger named Jason Robertson for the Stars.
Yeah, he's really good.
Who's got 24 goals?
Yeah, he's really good.
This year already?
Yeah, he's really good.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Well, that's why they gave him the money they gave him. 'Cause
Okay.
They identified he was really good. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My bad. Okay. What I wasn't ready to see that. When they have, Matt Duchene is the profiled player for the Predators on this same website, and you see him and his 10 goals, and then you see, Jason Robertson with his 24. You go, huh?
Yeah, they gave him $31 million over 4 years.
Well,
so they identified him as really good too.
Because he can put the biscuit in the basket.
Yeah, he's 23 years old.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yep.
Ooh.
Yep. He's really, really good.
Yeah, that's somebody you want to give $31 million to that guy.
Yep.
Hope
guaranteed.
And a nice big ranch down there in Texas. Hopefully he sticks out. Stays around for a while.
Just a little under $8 million per. So yep.
Alrighty. Yeah. Well. All right. Well, that kind of what that does is it kind of puts it in perspective when you look at superstars from other teams. And what their guy is doing versus what one of your guys is doing, it really, really does put it in perspective about where your team is. And, and I just put it like this with basketball, which I know we're going to get deep into coming up here. The Memphis Grizzlies have got John Morant, okay? John Morant's a big-time player. And when you see John Morant's averaging 33, and then your team has your leading scorers averaging 19, you go, huh? Maybe we should find a guy that can average 33 because, the guy that we got 19, we love him, but this is not going to cut it the same way. And that's the kind of the way I look at that. And I'm sure, Matt Duchene's got, positives and negatives and all that other stuff. I'm just saying when the other guy's got 24 goals and you've got 10 and they put you next to you, yeah. Okay. So this is kind of where we are here with the hockey team.
We'll come back. We'll switch gears back to the Titans. Short week for them. They host the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday. We'll react to
tomorrow.
Yep, we'll react to what took place on Saturday and what could take place on Thursday. All things Titans with Terry McCormick. We'll do that next here on the McFarland Show. Nashville Sports Radio, WNSR.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
Attention. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, this message is for you. Congress has passed $80 billion in funding to more than double the size of the IRS. 87,000 new IRS employees means more audits, collections, and penalties. This will make the IRS larger than the Pentagon, State Department, FBI, and Border Control combined. Now is the time to call Civic Tax Relief.
I owe the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Their tax resolution specialists can stop the IRS from taking money out of your paycheck.
With Civic Tax Relief, they were able to save me upwards of $80,000 that I would have had to pay.
For your free tax relief information, call now. 800-841-0908. 800-841-0908.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
800-841-0908.
Greg Pogue back once again to tell you about Bongo Java, Nashville's oldest and most celebrated coffee company, now also located in the Omni Nashville Hotel. Reward yourself for surviving Nashville traffic with fresh, locally roasted coffee, classic handcrafted espresso drinks, and fresh baked goods all day long. And free Wi-Fi so you don't have to work from home. Number 1 in customer service. You made it through the traffic. Reward yourself with a perfect pick-me-up at Bongo Java. Fresh coffee, delicious treats, great atmosphere. Open 6 a.m. until 2 p.m. daily. Bongo Java at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
New Year's Eve in Nashville has a new twist this year.
Touchdown, right up the middle, 45 yards.
The 25th annual Trans Perfect Music City Bowl is Saturday, December 31st at 11 a.m.
Still on his feet, touchdown!
Get your ticket to the biggest party in Nashville as the Iowa Hawkeyes and Kentucky Wildcats square off at Nissan Stadium. For more information on this year's game, including ticket availability, visit MusicCityBowl.com. Presented by the Tennessee Lottery.
Back here on the McFarland Show on this Tuesday afternoon, Darren and Justin here with you. We're at the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. Don't forget, you can watch us every day, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Let's bring in Terry McCormick, TitanInsider.com. Terry, hope you and the family had a great Christmas.
We did. How about you guys?
No complaints, man. Just trying to stay warm, right?
Yeah,
that's what we were just talking about during the break.
Exactly.
We can,
oh my gosh.
Can you remember? Think about it. We've attended a lot of cold games, and we can remember all the cold moments here in town. And we were literally talking about during the break. Was this the coldest maybe we've ever seen in the city? I mean, what was it like when it was 1 degree, 0 degrees,
something like that?
Yeah,
it was -3 at my house.
Was it?
About 6 a.m. or so, or 7 a.m. And I'm like, wow. When it hit 0 at noon, I thought, hey, we're moving up.
Yeah, I don't remember it ever being that cold. Like, we've had more snow. I don't remember it being that cold before.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not built for cold weather. There are people who say, oh, I'll take this over it being 95. No, sign me up for 95 all day.
Yeah, if you're saying that in the South, you're living in the wrong place. Like, you need to go back where it's cold and you can enjoy it all the time. Yeah, but there are people like that, to your point. We were talking in the first segment, and I get it. The window is very small. But, look, you can also judge some things by 3 games. Honestly, today, what is your assessment of Malik Willis right now? Putting aside, Terry, let me put the disclaimer, because we can all rifle through all of their problems, right? We know all of their weaknesses, all of their problems with that, and even play calling. I mean, I think they've got, an OC that it's got to change. Like, they've got to get something better than that. But with all that being said, do you think he's cut out to be a starter someday in the NFL or no?
He's got a long way to go. I'll leave it at that. He to me, I'll say this, and this is not anything that I haven't written. Of all the rookie quarterbacks that we've seen start for this franchise since they've gotten here, Vince Young, Jake Locker, Marcus Mariota, even Zach Mettenberger, he looks the least NFL ready in his rookie season of any of those. Would you agree with that?
Yes. And that's saying a lot.
That is saying a lot. Now, granted, that doesn't mean he can't put in the work and then put weapons around him and him develop into something, because I believe there's some talent there. Otherwise, he doesn't get drafted into the NFL. There's some talent there. It's just that having played at Liberty, it's a big, big, big step for a guy to come in and be a starter as a rookie in the NFL. And I think that we are seeing just how far away he is from being ready.
If Ryan Tannehill is done, or at least for the regular season, is there any chance that Dobbs sees the field?
It's a good question. I think, if I were coaching, I think I'd have to at least give him a look to see, if there's anything there with him. But you also have to remember that, Dobbs has kind of had chances at other places in Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Cleveland. And for whatever reason, everybody talks about, how smart he is and how, he's an engineer, for crying out loud, in terms of, how good he is in terms of deciphering the playbook and knowing what to do. We really haven't seen him get much of a chance to show what he can do in a regular season game. But given that Malik Willis has yet to crack 100 yards passing in any of the starts that he's made, if I were coaching, I think I might have to at least see what Josh Dobbs has.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to fall into the same camp as what you just said. So I also said in the first segment, it's not my job to fire coaches, okay? But I can also give my opinions, and I've been giving my opinion for weeks and weeks, probably now over a month on this show. Todd Downing just isn't good enough at OC. That's just my assessment. The play calling can be a whole lot better. It's just not good enough. And I get it, all the lack of weapons and the injuries and blah, 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 blah. Look, he had weapons last year, and it didn't look much better, okay? And I get it. They were the 1 seed, and they won the division. But I just think that they can do better at that position. Do you agree with that assessment? Do you think it's only looks that way because of all the injuries and all the, the people they throw out there that nobody's ever heard of? Or what's your assessment of Todd Downing and the play calling duties?
Well, I do question some of the play calls that have been made. They're those types of calls that, it kind of go out of your way to bring you under scrutiny when they don't work. Like when you're handing off to Chigakonkwo on a tight end around on 3rd and inches when Derrick Henry is standing right there in the backfield and you can just give him the ball, or have your quarterback fall forward for a quarterback sneak. I think it's those types of things that kind of, befuddle people and make them question what's going on here. I think at times they seem to get too cute or outsmart themselves, or try to. And when that blows up, it doesn't look good. And then on top of the injuries and a group of wide receivers who can't get any separation, you're talking about just a bad mix overall and just kind of a recipe for a worst case scenario. And I think that's what we've seen for much of this season.
How does this team try to go about winning another football game this season?
Well, I think
that was a big pause, by the way.
They're going to have the defense play lights out and the offense not turn the ball over. And it might take, a big play on defense or even special teams to get a cheap score. I think when you look at how limited this offense has been, especially with Malik Willis at the helm, then you're talking about a team that really you're having to ask the defense, okay, hold them under 15 and maybe we'll win. And that's not been happening. And so I think that when you're in that situation, you have such a small margin for error that, one mistake can turn the whole thing around. And we saw that the other day when they're holding on to a lead. Roger McCreary gets beat deep, and it sets up a game-winning touchdown for the Texans. And then the Titans compound that with the Willis interception there on the next to last drive. And they were fortunate, really, at that point to even have a chance at a Hail Mary at the end that was also intercepted.
Speaking with Terry McCormick, TitanInsider.com, how are they going to approach the Dallas game? In your opinion, because the reason I'm asking is because it means nothing to them. It doesn't change. This whole season is coming down to the Jacksonville game. So how do you think they will approach the Dallas game?
I think the smart thing to do is, you want to play to win. And when you've lost 5 in a row, you need to do whatever you can to try and win. But I almost approach it this way. If somebody's a little bit dinged up, if Derrick Henry's on the injury report with a hip injury, Derrick Henry's probably not going to play. If I'm Mike Vrabel, I'm going to hold him out for the Jacksonville game, have him as fresh as possible. Same thing with Jeffrey Simmons, who's been, battling an ankle injury for weeks. Same thing with a lot of other guys that you need to get back in order to have your best chance to win that game in Jacksonville. Now, that said, here's what I would do in terms of the offense. I would put Malik Willis in there because he needs the reps, and that the second string offensive line, that's now the first string offensive line, needs as much work together as they can get. And I'd open things up and just see what happens. You might get beat 45-3, but it doesn't mean anything. It's just a matter of you've got to get him as comfortable as possible going into that last game, and you got to get your key guys like Henry and Simmons and Burks and some of these other guys who've been in and out of the lineup all year long with injuries as healthy as possible for one shot at winning the division, and that comes in Jacksonville.
Terry, I'm curious about what you think about what a successful season now looks like for this football team.
Well, I don't know that this team, that what they've done, in one respect, you can say it's nowhere near successful because of all the injuries, because of the lack of playmakers that they have outside of Derrick Henry and with their offensive line woes. But then on the other hand, you look at it and you go, well, this team somehow was 7-3 and was at least in the conversation of getting the number 1 seed again before everything just kind of collapsed. So in that respect, they've gotten about as much out of this group as they can get. But I guess a successful season would be winning the division, even if you're 8-9, and then not getting embarrassed in the playoffs when the Ravens or the Chargers or whoever it might be comes to town for that wild card round playoff game.
Terry, getting into the playoffs would do what for this team versus not getting into the playoffs? And when I say the team, what I really mean is the organization. Not getting in the playoffs is a massive blow to the organization or not that big a deal?
Given the circumstances, I think it's not that big of a deal. And I think it's a higher draft pick. It's the difference in picking maybe number 12 versus picking number 22. And you can do a lot with 10 spots in the draft. So they'd almost be better off long-term to get a higher draft pick and not make the playoffs rather than make the playoffs and pick 22nd, or heaven forbid, if they won a game, then they're picking like 27th or 28th or somewhere in that neighborhood. And, and granted, the players in the locker room don't think that way, because there'll be guys that won't be in that locker room next year that think this is the only shot that they have. Mm-hmm. And that certainly needs to be their line of thinking. Their job is to compete and try to win as much as possible. But here's where I'm coming from on this. The Titans have Mike Vrabel spoke of a few weeks ago when they got embarrassed in Philadelphia. He spoke about how this organization was at a crossroads. And I think he was referring to which direction they were going to go to finish out the year. And we've certainly seen how that's gone. But this organization is at a crossroads in another respect, in a much bigger aspect than just this season. After this season, with their cap issues and lots of guys who haven't been too productive or else they've been hurt, and they're commanding big money coming into next season, they got to decide, do they want to do a soft rebuild or retool? In other words, fix the offensive line, get some playmakers on the outside at receiver, and give this thing a go while Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill are still in their prime of their career? Or is it time to bag it all and say this one's not going to get it and wait for the next window of opportunity to open up? Because we know that they're about to embark on building a new stadium that's going to be ready 4 to 5 years from now. And you cannot go into that new stadium spending taxpayer money and all with a team that's competing with the Houston Texans to finish last in the AFC South. You need to be competitive and solid by that juncture. What's the best way to go about that? Whoever the new general manager is, along with Mike Vrabel and along with Amy Adams-Strunk, are going to have to make that tough call as to which direction this team needs to go.
Terry, I've seen some of the social media posts out there from people like Jeffrey Simmons and Kevin Byard. Some of them, thanking the fans, trying to rally the troops a little bit. I also sense that maybe Jeffrey Simmons says something to the effect of, for those who believe in us. Does the team feel in any kind of way abandoned by the fans, or maybe they feel like they have let the fans down? Do they feel that? Do they talk about that at all, about the impact this is having on the fan base and everyone else outside the building?
Yeah, it's interesting that you say they're not going to say a whole lot of that other than they appreciate the fans. Kevin Byard was talking about that yesterday. He said that he appreciated the fans that stood out there in the cold on Christmas Eve and watched that team play, even though they lost to the worst team in the league. And he was talking about how he appreciated their support and their loyalty, and, that they're trying to turn things around to reward those people that have been loyal to them. And so from that aspect, I think they do want to win and they do want to get this thing turned around, but it's just a matter of, is it too far gone? Because there are guys in there that, are playing right now that you go, where'd this guy come from? How'd they find that guy? It looks like, it looks more like the Philadelphia Stars roster than it does the Tennessee Titans in terms of who the players are. Because they're just, guys that you plucked off the street.
Can I go there on that subject matter?
Sure.
In your opinion, who do you think is, just give me the team name. Who is the best team in the NFC?
The best team in the NFC, the Eagles.
Okay. Who do you think is the best team in – okay, so with that being said, A.J. Brown, what was the knock on him when he was here?
That he couldn't stay completely healthy.
How many games has he played this year? Do you know off the top of your
head? He's played
in
all of them.
Okay. Who do you think is the best team, in your opinion, in the AFC?
Probably Buffalo.
Okay.
But, if somebody wanted to say Kansas City or even Cincinnati, I probably wouldn't argue with them too much.
Okay, for the sake of this conversation, let's go with Buffalo. When Roger Saffold was shown the door here, what was the narrative on him on the way out?
Well, he had a high cap figure, but he also had a stinger shoulder neck problem that he couldn't get past last year.
How many games would you say off the top of your head Roger Saffold
I think he's played in all of them. I think I see where you're going with this.
In fact, Roger Saffold, when I look at not only has played in every game, just like A.J. Brown, he has also played in almost 100% of the snaps in every game as well. Over half of the – well, yeah, it's like how many of the 15 games? Let's say 10 of the 15, he's played 100% of the snaps on offense. I guess where I'm going with this, don't you think at some point – like at first it was like, it's just bad luck and it's an anomaly. Well, this is 2 years now where they're going to lead the league in turnover and injuries and rostering the most players. At some point, don't you think we need to have a real discussion of maybe they need to take a different approach or what is going on here? Because those things were absolutely said and were true. It was fair to say. And yet they move on to new teams and they're playing. Oh, by the way, who was the guy who caught a touchdown on Sunday in Tampa Bay's win? Come from behind win. Julio Jones. Wow, here we are. Week 15 of the season, Julio Jones is playing for Tampa Bay. At what point are we not saying that this is a coincidence or bad luck or an anomaly? And at some point, when are we going to have the discussion of maybe they need to start changing some things or an approach over there? What do you think about that?
I think it's something that has to absolutely be evaluated because you can't leave any stone unturned on this type of thing. You've got to figure out, why is this happening? Why does this team continually have injury after injury after injury that it can't overcome? Is some of it bad luck? Yeah, sure, absolutely it is. But, people are starting to point to the fact that A.J. Brown and Roger Saffold have left here and now they're completely healthy and, they seem to be able to play through whatever. I guess the best way to find out would be just if somebody were to be able to contact one of those guys and just say, hey, what's different in Philly about the way they care for injuries or the way that they condition, or what's different in Buffalo about the way they condition than here? Is it different? Is it just bad luck, or are the Titans doing something or not doing something that needs to be addressed?
Yep.
I mean, it's a fair question.
Yep. Good stuff, Terry. Really appreciate it. Happy New Year to you and your family, and we'll talk to you in 2023.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Happy New Year.
Thanks, Terry.
Terry McCormick, TitanInsider.com. We'll talk about that and more on the other side. Also, a future Hall of Famer, has told everybody today he's done after this season. We'll tell you who we're talking about as you listen to the McFarland Show here on Nashville Sports Radio.
The FanDuel Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up and use the promo code BKING. Combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout for the same game parlay. With live betting, you'll get updated odds on games that have already started. And when you win, you get your money really fast. It's a safe app. It's easy to download and super easy to use. Sign up today. Use that promo code BKING for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code BKING. Must be at least 21. Present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets. That expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems? Call the Tennessee Red Line. 800-889-9789.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. That's right, free. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuities in simple-to-understand terms that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And it's free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report summarizing the rates and benefits from financially strong insurers.
Call 800-715-9880.
That's right, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling today.
Call 800-715-9880. That's 800-715-9880.
Sponsored by Annuity General. Producers have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer. Increased income is possible using strategies suited to your goals and may require buying multiple annuities and holding them full term.
Did you know there's a place where you can get good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates on home and auto insurance? Yep, and that place is, ta-da, State Farm. Here's the deal. State Farm agent Austin Hardy is your go-to agent in the Middle Tennessee community for the service you desire at the price you want. So stop shopping around. State Farm agent Austin Hardy has you covered. Call 615-810-9999 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
State Forecast. Your exclusive National Sports Radio, WNSR Sky Scan Forecast. Today's going to be mostly sunny, high 42. Mainly clear tonight, low 26. Wednesday is going to be sunny, high 54. Thursday, partly sunny, high 60. Utilizing the resources of the WeatherBug Network on National Sports Radio. I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
Bill King will join us to begin the second hour of the program. Good stuff from Terry McCormick.
Absolutely.
Have you thought about that at all? I know we've talked about
which
it.
Part?
Just the part at the end with the injuries. I just think this is more than just bad luck.
The only thing I can think of is that the style of play of this football team no longer fits the era, so they are, they're really they're playing physical. And listen, the NFL is a physical game, and no one's gonna say, oh, it's a bunch of soft stuff now. That's not true. But the Titans play a really throwback style of football, and after a while, it really takes a toll. And they don't have two-a-days anymore. They don't, it's hard to prep for the kind of football that the Titans play. And I think it's the mileage is piling up on the guys. It's the only thing I can come up with that makes any semblance of sense, other than it's just a bunch of bad luck, which some of it is. I understand that, but I mean, the NFL has moved from the power style of football that the Titans play. It's almost like watching the old Tennessee Vols against the new Tennessee Vols. If for those of you who just followed the Tennessee Vols for the last 2 years, you have no idea what I'm talking about. The Tennessee Vols used to be rock'em sock'em robots back in the the 80s and 90s and 2000. They were a run-oriented team, ground and pound, hit you hard, and we're gonna continue to hit you hard all game. And that's not who they are right now. And they have moved on. And I think the whole league has moved in that direction. And I think it's catching up with the Titans. It's the only thing it's the only thing that makes sense, other than, some really wacky stuff after that.
A.J. Brown, the whole knock. Look, the knock was he couldn't stay healthy, and he's wanting a lot of money.
Yeah.
And he's gone to Philadelphia, and he's been upright and healthy the whole entire season. He couldn't do that here. Roger Saffold on the way out. It's like, love you. He's been awesome at left guard.
He was.
But, man, he gets hurt a lot, and he commands a lot of money because he's a vet. He's logged a lot of games, and he's really good. But, man, he gets banged up and dinged up, and he's missed here and he misses there. He's playing at 70%, and guess what? He's in Buffalo. He's played in all 15 games, and I was looking at his snap counts. Most games, he's 100% of the snap counts.
Yeah, but what are they doing during the snap counts? They're throwing the football. What are they doing in Philadelphia during the snap counts? They're throwing the football. It's very different.
But that's not
it's
really
a
true.
different
Philadelphia
nature.
is a better rushing team than the Titans.
Okay. They're a better rushing team, meaning they're gaining more yards per rush, or are they rushing more often?
When the Titans played the Eagles were the third best rushing team in the league.
What does that even mean, though? My only thing is you can be a better rushing team gaining more yards per rush and running less is my whole point. The Titans run the ball a lot. And not to say the Eagles don't run the ball a lot. I understand they do. The Titans run the ball with Derrick Henry because that's the only thing they got. Derrick Henry is, I would venture to say, and I haven't looked it up, leading the league in carries again, isn't he? Hasn't he been doing that forever? They ran some incredible stat where Derrick Henry has like 1,000 attempts or something over the last couple of years. That is ground and pound football. The Eagles don't do that. The Bills don't do that. And yes, the Eagles may have a better rushing attack. They may gain more yards or whatever. But that's not really their whole identity per se, is running the football. They throw the football. They've got Smith and A.J. Brown. That's who they do. That's what they do. Who's the running back for the Eagles?
Committee.
It's a very
and
different.
Jalen Hurts, too.
It's a very different style of running the football, even when they do. It is not I formation, smash mouth running the football. It's more of a zone running thing. It's just different. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but
the physical toll is different.
But that's Philadelphia. We're talking about Buffalo. Like A.J.
And they run
Brown,
the football to death in Buffalo?
Do they run the football?
Yeah.
They run it. I mean, Devin Singletary's had a really good year.
What are his attempts? It's
course
not a good year. Don't give me that.
Of course we know they throw the ball with Josh Allen.
That's my point. Is their offense is oriented around throwing the football. That's what they do most of the time. And what I'm saying is when you run the football like they do, it puts you through a meat grinder. And this football team is getting hurt, pounded up. And, listen, I can't prove it. This is just my theory. We've both watched a ton of football. You know what it looks like when a wide receiver is run blocking. You know, which one is more physical, when he's run blocking or he's going a go route and nobody throws him the ball?
Julio Jones could not get on the field here, and yet he's on the field in Tampa.
Why couldn't he get on the field here?
Hamstring.
And by the way, I just looked at him. He's on the field the same amount of – he played 10 games for the Titans last year. He's played 9 games for Tampa this year, so he'll play roughly the same amount of games. But the deal is the style of play here. What are they asking him to do in Tampa versus what are they asking him to do here in Nashville? How often is he on the field for running plays? Are they asking him to block for Leonard Fournette, or are they bringing him in just for passing situations? What's his role exactly? It's just not the same. I don't believe it's the same thing. I do understand your point, but I just believe that the football team is being asked to do more physically with that run game here in Nashville than they could be elsewhere. Now, I could be mistaken.
Well, it's not just guys on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, those are just the examples I used.
Yeah.
What about guys on the defensive side of the ball that can't stay healthy either? Is it just, again, they're the only physical team in the league?
Well,
I mean,
they're not the only physical
when I
team
watch
in
the
league,
49ers, I know they sure as heck want to get after it.
I think there's something about the
Baltimore
style.
Ravens have always gotten after it on defense.
They do. Now, they suffer a lot of injuries, too.
They do. You're right.
The Ravens suffer quite a few injuries as well. Every year they're dealing with somebody.
Yep.
But I believe, again, it's the style of football in which they play. I'll give you a good example. There's a guy that we both know who I'm not going to call his name, but he played a long time in the National Football League. And I asked him one day about his style and the way he played football. And he said, I played more with my hands than I did with my head. And if you play with your hands and, and your chest area, you're going to be much better off. You're going to have a much higher percentage staying in the game than playing with your head. Now, playing with your head can be more effective at times. And he says there were occasions where the guy was so good I had to play with my head, but that was a small percentage of the time. Most of the time, I was hands, finesse, not so much power trying to play football. Because that's the way you stay healthy. Banging is only going to hurt you after a while.
Yep. All right, we'll come back, wrap up the first hour of the McFarland Show. We'll do that next.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/joy. That's forhims.com/joy for your free online visit. forhims.com/joy.
Nashville's first curling venue is here at T-Line Nashville. Come check out T-Line Nashville and experience the world's fastest growing winter sport today. Curling is a fun and simple sport that's a perfect outing for friends, corporate events, families, or parties. T-Line also has classic bowling and modern bowling mini games. With over 20 HD TVs, you can come watch your favorite teams and some of the best food and drinks here in Nashville in the large bar and grill area. They also have an outdoor area with a fire pit, and you can't forget the live music. T-Line Nashville is a one-stop shop for a great night out. Located at 106 Duluth Avenue and online at tlinenash.com. You can book your party now or give them a call at 615-439-1024. That's 615-439-1024. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook at T-Line Nash for all the news, events, and updates. T-Line Nashville. Nashville's first curling venue is here.
Tired of the same old company holiday party and looking to reward your team with a fun night out? What about something different for a birthday party or group gathering? Hello, this is Philip Cox of Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers, and we specialize in group events no matter the size at our Tusculum, Donaldson, Hermitage, Murfreesboro, and Hendersonville locations. Plus, Hendersonville and Murfreesboro offer enhanced entertainment options with bumper cars, laser tag, roller skating, and more. 'Tis the season to have fun with family, friends, and business associates, and there's no better place to do it than at Strike and Spare Family Fun Center. Visit strikeandspare.com to learn about the group outing option. Strike and Spare, where fun is bowling.
It's a Bill King Show.
Lake Norman Buckeye. Bill will Saban actually coach that 24 quarterback. At some point, he's got to hang it up. Nothing lasts forever. I want to repeat, Nick Saban is doing his favorite thing right now. He's not trying to get to a moment in life to where he can go sit on the beach.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
J.J. Watt has said this season with the Cardinals, I'd rather be at home next year. I'm not playing. I'm done.
He's got a new child, just welcomed in. He said it went to their first football game, and his kid's first football game, he said, was his last home game in the National Football League.
Said he's peace out.
33 years old.
He's going to the Hall.
He is.
There's no doubt about it.
He is going to the Hall of Fame. There's no question about it.
He's one of the best that's ever played at that position.
3-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He's got over 100 sacks. He's got 9.5 this year. So, he's closing in on another double-digit sack year. He's going to go to the Hall. There's no question about it. The question to me is, what are you going to do with all these wide receivers at some point? And that's a discussion we can have much later, but I'm just saying there's going to be a backlog at wide receiver here because of the numbers and the way we're throwing the football in the National Football League right now. And are we going to judge all these wide receivers the same way at some point, especially when we've got quite a few wide receivers of note who are still not in the Hall of Fame? Jimmy Smith is one of them down in Jacksonville, who I think –
I do too.
And Fred Taylor, by the way, I think is also a Hall of Fame player as well. But, Jimmy Smith to me is much more in that Hall of Fame category than Fred Taylor was. And he's not in for whatever the reason. And I can't explain that. But Hines Ward is not in, which I don't understand that either.
He needs to be in.
But at some point, what are we going to do? Because there's a whole – Larry Fitzgerald will be up before we know it.
Well, what's going to happen is there's going to be a slew of wide receivers because the running backs aren't going to be getting in.
No.
Because of today's game.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard to put running backs in because you're going to look at those numbers and be like, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, the big deal is it's a pass-happy league. They don't get the ball much anymore, so they're not going to dazzle you with your stats.
There's almost needs to be a realignment or an adjustment of how we look at wide receiver numbers because of, the way this is going.
So there's going to be a big run on receivers. There will be.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have gaudy numbers. They just are.
The numbers, we've already definitely told us last week about Tyreek Hill going for the single season, record here. These numbers are going to be outrageous And it's actually going to make guys like Hines Ward and Jimmy Smith look pedestrian coming up in a minute.
Yeah, but they can't be penalized for it because that's not the way the game was played.
They're already
then.
being penalized for it. I mean, why aren't they in
True.
now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but Lynn Swan got in. Lynn Swan's numbers aren't dazzling. You look at Lynn Swan, it's like.
Lynn get in, though? Lynn got in,
because of two catches in Super Bowls.
Yeah.
That's why he
but,
got in.
No, not why, but when. Like, he got in, a few years ago when people thought about this a little different.
But you know what I mean. I mean, you look at those numbers today,
sure.
it's like, it's a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like 8,000 yards.
Right. Huh?
Yeah, whole hum.
All right, we'll come back. We'll kick off the second hour with Bill Keane. We'll do that next.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Alexis Christoforous. Thousands of travelers remain stranded after days of flight cancellations. Southwest canceled some 70% of flights in the past 2 days. ABC's Sam Sweeney has more.
We've been hearing from the unions and Southwest leadership saying, look, we know our infrastructure is out of date and we need to improve it. We have crews that are waiting online, trying to talk to scheduling for 5 to 10 hours. And by the time they get through, they've timed out for the day and then they're stuck in whatever city that they were in when this storm hit.
Across the country, the winter storm is blamed for at least 51 deaths. The majority of deaths are in Buffalo, New York, where more than 4 feet of snow fell in just 3 days. Residents in the town of Jackson, Mississippi are under a water boil order after the water pressure dipped suddenly. The city is already struggling to maintain an aging water system damaged by flooding this past summer. This is ABC News.
I'm Dr. Stork. Why give your family just ordinary eggs when they can enjoy the best? Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition compared to ordinary eggs, with 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, 25% less saturated fat, and 38% more lutein. Because the way we care is anything but ordinary. Only Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
I hate the struggle of tough, greasy messes on my stovetop. So I just freak, wipe, and I'm done.
When I'm frustrated with stubborn bathtub soap scum, I just freak, wipe, and I'm done.
Mr. Clean Clean Freak delivers an innovative cleaning experience with a powerful deep cleaning mist that starts working on contact to break down tough messes in seconds.
Just freak,
wipe,
done.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
You can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty there.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Second hour on this Tuesday afternoon. Darren and Justin here at the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. Let's bring in the man you can hear on these airwaves, 6 to 9 a.m., Monday through Friday. Bill Keane now joins us. Bill, how you doing? I know we've got him.
We heard him before.
Yep. Bill, are you there?
Bill?
Hey, guys, I'm here. I was chasing a cat.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well,
okay.
fun, Bill.
I mean, it was either the show or the cat, so you know.
Okay.
I got it. I could say something, but I'll
But
probably
say,
get in trouble.
boy, there's a lot of
So
things there.
I was going to say, we're going to move on.
Let's just move on to something else now.
We would like to see 2023, so we will move on.
Yes, quickly.
Yes.
Sam Hart, let's go right to the transfer portal because it is never dull there. By the way, Devlin is dying. He is absolutely dying right now. Keep a
Devlin
close
might
watch
be
on
turning
him.
red.
Justin.
Devlin is turning red over
He's
there.
on the floor. Sam Hartman leaving Wake Forest, and it looks like all signs are pointing towards him going to Notre Dame. Surprised by this? Not surprised? What was your reaction?
No, because that's been the worst kept secret the last 2-3 weeks. He was definitely not going back to Wake. Don't think he's turning pro. And there's been whispers that are echoing loudly that that's his destination. Now, I thought they'd probably wait until after the bowl game. It was really quiet. He won't say much. After his bowl game, they asked him about his future, and he said, I'm going to go to the place where I can get the coldest drinks. And I think on his list, whatever that list is, and he could probably go a lot of places, they'd take him in. This is a incredible stat sheet stuffing quarterback, scoring point guard, that he could probably pick a lot of places that could use him right now. But it does sound like the Irish may have their first playmaking quarterback since maybe Jimmy Clausen, and he turned out a little overrated, but it's been – Ian Book was serviceable. He's certainly better than what they've got right now, but this would be a monster upgrade for them.
All right, hang with me before – because let me try to get through this because I've just been thinking about this lately, this transfer portal and just where everything is. Like, okay, so let's just start with last week. How much has the transfer portal affected what took place, the early signing period last Wednesday? Because I know we don't follow it anywhere near the level that you do, but to me it kind of felt like it was pretty quiet. Is that fair, and is that because of the transfer portal? Is that ruining the early signing period?
No, it's become an incredible pot of gold
that
you've never had before to fix problems that you couldn't quick fix. You'd have to go get a recruit, then wait on him, right? When's he going to develop? Is he even going to develop? Now you got a guy that you've watched him multiple frames in a college game, and you know pretty much 100% what you've got, how he plugs in. Now, it is hurting some of the middle road of the road recruits who think they can sit back and be a little picky because it's still an 85 limit. You can do the math a little bit different than you used to, but it's still an 85 total. And so you got to get everybody in there. It doesn't matter what planet you come from or what portal you come from. You still got to fit into 85. Some of those kids are getting hurt.
So the part that I wanted to jump to, there was a whole lot less Division I schools. And so back in the old days, Bill, as you know, the rich just got richer, right? The Alabamas, the Texases, all of the big programs, the big boy schools, then because there were way less options. And then we had that trend, right, of, well, fine, if big boy school isn't going to let me play right away, then I'll go to a littler school and I'll play all the time, right? Or, a mid-major and I'll get my playing time there. So now things have shifted to where we are. I'm wondering if the rich aren't going to get richer again, because here's where I'm going with this, Bill. When I see these stories, it seems like good player at even smaller Power 5 school, Wake Forest, Maryland tight end going to Alabama, Sam Hartman going to traditional power Notre Dame. I feel like if you're good and you're at a mid-major or a smaller Power 5 school, if these good kids just keep jumping ship to the big boy school, aren't we going to get back to what it used to be a long time ago?
frankly, we haven't had parity in forever.
Okay,
I mean, a
fair.
year ago, guys, we didn't have more than 2 teams worthy of a playoff spot a year ago, and they played in the championship, Alabama and Georgia. You could argue we don't have 4 this year, but we're about to go to 12, so it really doesn't matter what we're arguing. No, there hasn't been parity in a long time. Now, are you saying could this increase the dominance? It might. Now, if you do something like Rick George has done at Colorado, and you're way outside the box, and you've got a guy who can go get dudes, and they say they're going to support him with money because it's going to take that plus his influence, you can rise up from nowhere. Colorado hadn't been much since 1990. And so that could happen, which would be unlikely before the portal and the freebie transfer and the graduate transfer and all that. That's more possible, but I still think the rich will continue. You got to remember, too, guys, that the TV contracts that the SEC has, and they're about to lose CBS for way more money in that 2:30 slot on Saturdays for ABC. Now the Big Ten has a monstrosity of a contract that starts next year. There's so much more money in those 2 leagues than the others. It's way more than it's ever been. So I just think everything points to the rich getting snobbier and richier, and still, instead of having a 15,000 square foot home, it's going to be 20,000, I guess.
Okay, fair enough. Are we going to get games on Saturday? Are we going to, in other words, the 2 semifinal games, are we going to get a good game? Any chance of an upset, or is it going to be Georgia versus Michigan?
I don't give TCU much of a shot. Physically, that should be a mismatch. If TCU can spread them out and have them chasing, ghosts and shadows and, eye candy and all that, if that game has anything to do with physicality, TCU shouldn't have much of a puncher's chance. Ohio State could if Georgia is letting the quarterback hang around, right? If they're not getting to him. And starting with the Tennessee game, they started getting to the quarterback. And the Carter kid, who I think is the top pick in the draft for me, can dominate up front. If that's happening, Georgia wins solidly. If they're able to protect Stroud with those incredible receivers, I think we've got a bowl game.
Huh. All right, we'll wait and see on that here. I mean, Bill, help me out. I'm having a problem, Bill. And my problem is this, Bill. By the time we get around to the college football playoffs, Bill, I'm having a gap because it feels like we selected these guys like 6 months ago. And so many things happen in the sports world between the selection of the teams and the actual games that who is not a college football super fan, but I follow, but I'm losing the momentum to get hyped up about these games. Is this a me problem or is this a college football problem?
It's been going on since 98, though. BCS, same thing. I mean, there's always been a month gap, 5-week gap. And I think that's an advantage if Nick Saban's got a month. Don't you like him sitting around thinking about it? Huh? I mean,
yeah.
But now Ohio State needed this. Now, Jackson Smith and Jigba just opted out. But they have so many receivers, Marvin Harrison Jr. and all the others, it's not going to matter. Their running back core has been butchered, though, with injuries. And they have a chance to heal up. Mayan Williams, and you got to remember Aaron Hayden's son, if you guys go back to the early 90s, Tennessee running back with Little Man Stewart and Charlie Garner. His son is a fantastic freshman who gets a few carries for Ohio State. He'll help out, too. I think Ohio State really needed it more than Georgia.
All right, so the break was needed there. So, Bill, here we are. This is my favorite question for you, and that is the coaching questions here. As I do follow a lot of NFL moves, I'm always interested about reaching back. You've told me that there are no NFL coaches or NFL positions open this year that you believe teams would reach back for in college. I've heard the chatter about Lincoln Riley. I've heard the chatter about Jim Harbaugh. The openings right now, we just had a new one, I think yesterday or today. Denver is now open as they let go of Nathaniel Hackett. So you have Denver, Carolina, Indianapolis. A lot of people are saying Arizona. Do you still feel that way? Has the wind changed directions? Is there anybody you think that will make the jump to the pros?
Harbaugh tried. On signing day, he was visiting the Vikings, so we know that he wanted to. And he's got Michigan completely turned around. And I don't think they're going to win a national championship, but what if they did? He's done all he can do. He's proven what he can do in the NFL. He got a team to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, that's the best candidate. I don't know if it happens this year. And, Jim's really weird. He's an odd dude, so that you kind of got that to deal with too. But he's a heck of a coach, and he's a pro coach. I mean, everything in his head is pro stuff, right? I mean, everything Michigan does is pro-oriented. That's, to me, I'm not going to – no way I come back and bring in some gunslinger from college. That doesn't translate up there. So Lincoln Riley did a good job this year in year one. Can't deny that. Josh Heupel, same thing. But I'm not going to – I don't think a gunslinger at all translates to Sunday. I just don't.
Would there be two – could you ever have a room with two weirder people than Jim Irsay and Jim Harbaugh if he went back and was the head coach of the Colts? Could you imagine those two in a press conference?
Yeah, I'd be weird. I mean, I wouldn't want to be covering that.
No. My goodness, no.
Dude, I wanted to ask you about something that Darren and I were talking about during the break as we take a look at the First Responder Bowl happening at SMU. Down there is where they're playing the game at Gerald Ford Stadium on the campus of SMU. Where do some of these bowl games come from? Like, where's the how did the First Responder Bowl come to be, Bill? And I know you don't have the history on the First Responder Bowl on you. I'm just asking, some of these bowl games seem to be filler games. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're right. And
nothing against the First Responder Bowl and the nice people who run that. I'm sure it's a fine game.
Sure, it's just a community thing, and there's money people backing it, and you get ESPN loves it. ESPN would have 600 of these if they could, and I have them on, guys. I don't get emotional. I mean, I'm not in there, kind of leaning in to see where the safety is and see the quarterback's eyes like I am most games, but. My thing, I mean, if they had a rule that says each team can play 2 bowl games, I wouldn't care. I mean, if I don't like it, I'll turn on This Old House on PBS or something. I'll find something.
This Old House. That's Bill. Yeah, I'm an Antiques Roadshow guy myself, Bill. So that's your. If This Old House is your PBS go-to, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
The plight of the tsetse fly. How about that? I turn that on.
A little birdie told me you will have interest though in Kentucky and Iowa here in our backyard because you have interest in maybe who will be under center for Kentucky?
Yeah, and at least for this game, it's not Devin Leary. It's going to be the next time they play, 100%. And by the way, guys, that's a phenomenal pickup for Kentucky. Destin Wade and his twin brother are both there. Twin brother got to play a lot this year, kind of a hybrid Viper position, outside linebacker, defensive end. I think he plays on Sundays. Anyways, very good friend of the family's. My son played on the same team with him. They talk every day, and I don't know what to believe, but it sounds like Destin might trot out there as the quarterback. Now, again, he won't be after this game, but he may be the guy here in Nashville coming up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, I told Justin during the break that I got home. We go out. It's been a little Christmas Eve tradition. We go out to eat together. My wife's family and us. And then when I got home, I went upstairs and locked myself in a room, and I watched the rest of the MTSU game, and I enjoyed it. I mean, good for Rick Stockstill and the Blue Raiders.
Correct.
It's a nice win.
Correct.
Was that Gary Rankin's kid, the kicker?
It is. Yes, it is.
Wow. Okay. I was like, it's got to be, right? Rankin playing for MTSU, it's got to be his kid.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, good stuff. Bill, really appreciate it. We'll be listening tomorrow morning. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
Happy
it.
New Year.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
Bill Keane, tomorrow morning, his show starts at 6 o'clock here on these airwaves. You need to check that out. We will come back, continue the discussion on the other side as you listen to the McFarland Show here on WNSR. Are you looking for a trusted partner who knows AT&T business inside and out? ABS Communications is an organization built on the premise that telecom solutions and working with companies like AT&T can often be complicated, and the customer needs someone to help them navigate through these complexities. They make complex simple. Whether it's helping maintain, manage, or secure your business, ABS Communications is here to help with all your business, telecom, and mobility needs. Their business was built with the goal of simplifying the process of connectivity for the customer and establishing a long-term relationship of trust through transparency and accountability. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. You can call Mark and the gang at 615-349-8588, or you can visit their website at abscomm.net. And remember, mention the McFarland Show to ABS, and you could get up to $250 in a Visa gift card for new ABS business customers.
Today on Hey Culligan, reverse to reduce. Here's Bob.
Hey Culligan, I love fresh water, but I got plastic bottles coming out.
Whoa, Bob, you are not kidding about the bottles. But did you know Culligan's reverse osmosis and always-on drinking water systems provide fresh, clean, delicious drinking water and help reduce the equivalent of over 15 billion plastic bottles from landfills worldwide?
Holy, fresh, environmentally friendly drinking water. Am I right?
Right, Bob. And we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you 24/7, with supplies and solutions for every industry, and access to product specialists ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey Nashville, Ray here from Run With It. Let me tell you about our sponsor, Boom Boss Craft Pizza and Tap House. And with 4 locations in Bellevue, Murfreesboro, Spring Hill, and East Nashville, they're your home for the best gourmet pizza and craft beers in Music City. Join me on Monday nights at the East Nashville location for poker night. And if you think you know everything, try Wednesday night trivia at both locations. Gourmet pizzas, craft beers, online at BoomBozz.com. Boom Boss Craft Pizza and Tap House.
WNSR Nashville Sports Radio would like to take this time to say congratulations to Greg Poe. Greg is a member of the 2023 class of the Tennessee Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame. Greg Poe has been a standard and staple of Nashville sports media. Congratulations to Greg Poe and the rest of the 2023 class of the Tennessee Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame. From your friends and family at WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
Good stuff from Bill Keene. Our phone lines, unfortunately, are not working. A lot of you have tried to call in today. We apologize. Hopefully, they will be up and functioning tomorrow. I mean, they're functioning today. You just, when we go to lock you in and bring you up, you don't hear anything.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of you want to react to a lot of things going on here locally, and we certainly appreciate that. That's one of the things we absolutely love about the show. Nate did tweet to us since he said the phone lines aren't working. He said, what do you guys think about with all the non-playoff bowl games not meaning much and these players opting out? How has this changed the way high schoolers view non-playoff teams?
Well, I don't think the position on non-playoff teams one way or the other has changed. I mean, the pool of kids going to those playoff teams to begin with are already pretty limited as it is. So I mean, I'm not sure how many other 4 or 5 star guys are looking at saying, oh well, I'd rather go over here or over there versus the chance to play on a playoff or non-playoff team. I don't know if it makes that big of an impact myself. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I don't either. I hate that, that's why I told you, I've said this on the show before, I used to love playing bowl confidence pools or whatever. I mean, there was different versions. But I just stopped doing it and I loved it. But it's impossible to predict how these bowl games are going to play out.
Oh, no.
Because you would have to do – by the way, I have to turn that into a part-time job.
Yeah.
Trying to research all the players who are going to participate or who isn't going to participate is the better way of putting it. And then trying to, analyze how does that impact the game? How does that impact the team? This player opting out. This player opting out. Oh, this guy's not playing. Oh, their stud defensive lineman's not playing, or their stud DN's not playing. How does that change things? I don't play. I stopped when this trends. I think it was it Christian McCaffrey who was kind of I want to say the one that really started this.
Stanford,
I mean, he was like that big name guy that said, "Peace out.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm going to go focus on my NFL career, and I'm not playing in the
was
it the Rose Bowl? I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't even know.
But he said, I'm out. And it really, that's when all these other players were like, Christian McCaffrey is not going to play. You know what? I'm not playing either.
Yeah.
And then it just, now it's just happenstance. That's just what everybody does.
Yeah. I think
for the most part.
I think we've moved to the point in our culture here where winning the bowl game is meaningless anyway, and just getting to the bowl game becomes the marker now. And we hear it in the coach speech. Well, we had a good year last year. Think about what we hear at media days. And I don't mean SEC media days. I mean all media days from all the conferences when the coaches start talking in July and August. And you asked them about last year. We're coming off a good season, got a chance to go to a bowl game, and I thought that was great. Got a chance to go to the bowl game. Not we won the bowl game and it was great. Nobody says that. It is about, we had a chance to go to the bowl game. We had a great year, good opportunity for our kids, ready to move forward here for next year. And one of our goals, obviously, is to do well in our conference. And hopefully, if all goes well, we get to a bowl game and have a good opportunity for our fans. Get to the bowl game. Not win, not play well in the bowl game, just get there. That has been the benchmark now. Quietly, we've been quietly moving in this direction, I would say, for about a decade. We're just getting to the bowl game becomes – and listen, what do we say about coaches, Darren, when they leave? How do we measure their success? How many bowl games did they go to? Now, how many bowl games did they win? No one's asked that question unless they're championship games, unless they're playoff games. How many bowl games did they get to? Well, he retired with 5 out of 7 years in bowl games. No one asks if he won or lost these bowl games. It's just getting there. And that becomes the new marker. So I think that's where we are. So that's why you see these players opting out. The goal has already been accomplished. We're already here.
Yeah. Speaking of bowl games, Memphis right now leading Utah State 10-3. About 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. That game is being played down in Dallas, Texas. Nathaniel Hackett watched a lot of games during the break. Nathaniel Hackett was shown the door in Denver.
Yeah.
It wasn't a matter of if it was going to happen. It was when it was going to happen. They get absolutely shredded and embarrassed on national television on Christmas Day.
By the Rams.
Yeah.
And
by
not,
the way, who
not
had
the
the
world
same amount
champion
of
exactly
no,
Rams out there.
Baker Mayfield led Los Angeles Rams, who had the same amount of wins as Denver, 4.
Yeah.
And they
no Aaron Donald.
Drilled.
Yeah.
What was it, 51 to 14? And I think Denver just said, okay.
We've seen enough.
15 games is enough.
Thank you for coming by, sir. We've got some lovely parting gifts here for you, including all the money we owe you. Don't you worry.
15 games, Justin. That's it.
That's all you get.
There hasn't been a lot of those. Right? I mean, I know the NFL is not for long, but 15 games? Not the interim guy. No, this is a guy who was hired.
Yeah.
He was hired in the offseason.
Yeah.
Like, this is our guy. 15 games.
I will say it's unusual to fire a first-year head coach while there's still games left to play in the season. Normally, they wait until the end of the season to fire the first-year head coach, and it has been done. Cleveland fired their first-year head coach a few years ago, whose name escapes me right now.
Hugh? Well, no, Hugh.
No, wasn't Hugh. Hugh at least got 2 years.
He did, and won 1 game.
Yeah, 1 or 2 games. Yeah, it was bad. And there was another guy though who got a 1 year and he was done. I know what the Cardinals did to Steve Wilkes. I remember that a few years ago with the Josh Rosen year. That was 1 year. and then they were done with Steve Wilkes and moved on. It doesn't happen, but even in both of those cases, they waited to the end of the year to fire those guys. They didn't fire the guys with 2 games left to go. I mean, they just really had enough.
When I was watching that game, this is what I can't figure out, Justin.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Nathaniel Hackett. I don't know how much he is to blame. He's
a Doug Marrone guy. He was an offensive-minded guy.
He's been blamed.
Syracuse,
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
He didn't pack the offense to Denver, I guess. He left it behind.
He left it somewhere.
Or maybe he got stuck and, they couldn't
find
find, they lost that luggage.
There's a lot of luggage at the airport right now.
I don't know how much of it's Hackett's fault, but Russell Wilson looks pathetic. Russell Wilson looks like he can't quarterback anymore.
He doesn't
in the
look like
league.
himself.
He doesn't look.
He doesn't look like the guy we saw for a
gosh.
decade in Seattle. He doesn't even look like a shell of that guy.
Not even close. It's embarrassing.
I mean,
and by the way, they paid him how much? $250 million?
Yeah, quarter of a billion dollars.
You're talking about a franchise right now that has to be what Devlin was doing to begin this hour when we started the awkward conversation with Bill.
Yeah.
When he was in the floor laughing.
I mean,
that's what Seattle has to be doing right now, right? Like laughing their behinds off.
But there's no way Seattle thought it was going to look like this,
about fleecing
Yeah.
Denver. Now, does new guy come in? Like, people are saying Sean Payton. Why? Is Sean Payton going to go to Denver?
I mean, well, where else is he going?
Okay. Well,
I mean,
let me just say this. All right. Do you think Russell Wilson, is it a coach? Sean Payton turns Russell Wilson back into Russell Wilson 5 years ago?
There needs to be an evaluation about whether or not that
If the
can
answer is
be done.
then Sean Payton should go there.
The question needs to be asked, is Russ done? Is Russ really as bad as he looks, or is it situations around him? And that's what we don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I've only watched the Broncos in-depthly 1 year, and that's when they, one game, and that's when they played the Titans here. And I'm not really sure if Russ is just broken beyond repair, or if this is just we need to, or if Russ is actually healthy or not.
Is he mentally checked out? And here's the other part.
I don't know if he's mentally checked out. I don't know if he's mentally. I mean, that doesn't sound like Russell Wilson to be mentally checked out.
Well, I mean, just checked out. Like, he's made his money. Like, I'm set for life. I'm married to a famous singer. We're good for life. We don't ever have to work again. Is he just like, I don't need all this?
I don't know if what we've seen out of Russell Wilson this year is lack of effort. It's just bad decision making. I don't know if it's lazy.
Well, bad decision making can be laziness.
Well, I guess it can.
Did you see some of those picks on Sunday?
I did.
I was going, is this really Russell Wilson throwing these balls? I mean, he threw one 10 yards over the receiver's head. 10 yards.
Yeah,
over his head
something's
for a
clearly
pick.
Not working there.
And I'm like,
I don't know what it is.
This is Russell Wilson, or also they were fighting on the sidelines, the offensive lineman with the backup quarterback. You've heard stuff about Russell Wilson's personality, where he tends to rub people the wrong way, or he's a little snooty, or he's a little fake, or all the stuff that's been out there, right? I don't know. I've never been around him.
I have not.
But I think, at least the stuff I was watching over the weekend and reading, wasn't the backup quarterback upset because it seems like whenever they're sacking Russell Wilson, like the offensive linemen are just going back to the huddle. They're just like, and the backup was it Rippin?
Yeah, Brett Rippin.
Brett Rippin, not Mark.
Not
Mark's
Mark.
not his dad, right?
I don't know.
I don't know that.
He could be.
But
I'm not sure.
The backup quarterback was like, "Hey, how about you guys pick up your quarterback and go support him and So there's clearly a disconnect right now with Russell Wilson and his offensive lineman.
Yes.
Which, by the way, is bad. That's really bad. That has nothing to do with Nathaniel Hackett. Maybe they're just one big dysfunctional family right now.
It would seem as if the whole thing is dysfunctional. But to be fair, wasn't the whole thing dysfunctional before? The whole thing was dysfunctional under Dick Fangio, who was there before.
Yep.
That ship wasn't running right
No.
when he was there. So, I mean, there seems to have been, and again, we talked about this before, a lot of this runs up the flag to ownership, and they've had a change in ownership there in Denver. And when one ownership is on its way out and another ownership is on its way in, sometimes you have instability there in the front office, and that can lead to who knows what. Because now you don't know if there's any consequences coming from upstairs. Who's going to bring you to the principal's office? There's no principal. Who's handing out the suspensions and the problems here? I mean, it's and installing the discipline if there is any. I don't know about that.
Watch the Chargers and the Colts. I know. I must be a masochist, right? Last night. Wanted to see if the Chargers could punch their ticket into the playoffs. They did. That Colts team is really, really bad. By the way, today, Jeff Saturday saying, yeah, we're sticking with Nick Foles. Okay. So I guess
all right.
I guess it's not Matt Ryan. It's not Ellinger. Now it's going to be. By the way, did it look even better with Nick Foles?
No.
What did they score last night?
3.
Yeah.
It's about the same.
That was a home game.
By the way, Brent Rippon, real quick, is Mark Rippon's nephew.
Okay.
So not his son, but his nephew.
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
just to wrap that, and for those of you who don't remember, Mark Rippon was a NFL quarterback, won the Super Bowl with the Washington Redskins back in the day. All right, now we can move on. I just wanted to close that loop real quick. The Colts are another team that are a mess, but the Colts do have hope on the horizon. They're going to get a very high draft pick. They're going to draft a quarterback, you would think.
Yeah.
And they're going to start from scratch, and hope will spring eternal coming up here this summer while we watch, either, the quarterback from Alabama or the quarterback from Ohio State or some other wild card quarterback that will climb his way through the ranks.
Well, one of them's going in the division first before Indianapolis.
Yes, one of them will go to Houston.
Houston's going to take one.
One of them will go to Houston.
Yep.
And then the other young gun will go to Indy, and, we'll start again. And they all know that. Everybody knows that. This Jeff Saturday experiment is over. There's no question about that, I would think.
Well, like I said, there's stuff floating out there about Harbaugh.
There is. But I think some of that. Okay, so let's play it this way. With Jim Harbaugh,
Wouldn't you love to see Harbaugh and Vrabel twice a year? Oh man,
bring shades of Michigan, Ohio State back.
Love
with some of that. I'm sure that handshake at midfield after the game might be a little
swift.
Yeah.
It would be like Jim Schwartz's handshake.
It may not even be a handshake.
Thanksgiving.
Well, I
remember the flyby?
Yeah.
It was Jim Harbaugh.
Oh, yeah.
That was Jim Harbaugh, the flyby.
Listen.
And Schwartz chased him down.
It may not even be a handshake. It would be maybe more of a salute or a wave. It's like, do we really need to do this?
What kind of salute?
It's not the one-finger salute.
Okay.
I'm just saying the sort of thing like, hey, listen, I see you, you see me, cool. We've acknowledged each other, cool. We ain't got to come to, shake and do all that stuff. We know who we are. We're fine.
Man, I'd love to see that.
I mean, but if you're Jim Harbaugh and you're looking at the quarterbacks here, isn't there one you've already identified which quarterback you would like to work with? And, you're already looking at whether or not, listen, if this organization gets this quarterback in this situation, I would want to go work for them. But if it's, not that quarterback, maybe I don't want to go there. Maybe I'll just stay here in Michigan and wait for the next thing, because there will be another boat that comes next year. There are openings every year. So you can wait for the opening next year where it could be the quarterback that you want, because Lovie Smith, I don't know if he's going to stay in, in Houston. He feels like he's kind of babysitting that job, doesn't he? I mean, he doesn't. No, is anybody in Houston feel like Lovie Smith's going to be here the next 4 or 5 years? I mean, who has that feeling? It's just kind of like he's here because, we needed a guy and he's the guy. So we're here. And we got Lovie. Lovie's fine. And, he'll make sure the trains run on time and we're fine. We'll be okay. And there's no expectations. Everybody's cool. So I would think Harbaugh already has the guy he wants to work with. Now, whether or not that's Bryce Young or somebody else, that's a great question. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and there's a whole lot left to go, because there's almost always, the quarterback that rises through the ranks in the draft. Some guy we're not talking about that's going to wow everybody at some workout that we've never seen.
Like Zach Wilson?
And listen, all the time.
Mitch Trubisky?
Carson Wentz.
Daniel Jones?
Listen, there's some quarterback out there right now who's a senior or
Josh
junior
Allen?
who is going to rise up, and we've never seen him play. We don't know what school he went to. We don't know anything about him. But he's been going to quarterback camps, and he's been with quarterback gurus, and he's done some private workout somewhere, and all of a sudden now he is hot. And all of a sudden he's going to go in the top 5, and we're going to go, why? Who is he? And it happens every year.
Yep.
So maybe, and somebody's drooling to work with him, whoever he is.
By the way, Boomer Esiason said after the Jets game on Saturday,
Boy.
he's like, he's played his last game with the Jets.
Wow.
And the panel, which is Phil Simms and
Sure.
Bill Cowher and that whole group right there at the studio.
Yeah.
They're like, for the season or forever? And he was like, forever. I was wow.
I mean, New York's a rough spot.
That is
Boomer Esiason and Phil Simms would know something about playing quarterback.
No,
there
I
in New
know,
York.
but that
so they would understand.
He said he's done.
Yeah,
man,
it's looked bad.
It's
looked real bad.
But like they're just punting. That was the number 2 pick in the draft.
Yeah,
this is what year 2.
Yeah,
for him.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, who's looked worse, him or Malik Willis?
Well, Malik Willis, at least you could say, was a 3rd-round pick.
He was.
Zach Wilson was the number 2 pick.
Yes.
Overall. It's like Trubisky, right? That's why Chicago couldn't. He was the 3rd pick in the draft.
The Trubisky thing was the most ridiculous thing.
You drafted
I've ever
him
seen.
over Mahomes.
Yeah.
You drafted him over Watson.
It's the most ridiculous pick in the history of the NFL, I think.
By the way, I went back and looked at the 2011 draft because J.J. Watt announced his retirement.
Yeah.
Do you remember what pick he went?
No, I don't.
It was 10 or 11.
Okay.
Devlin, what was it, 10 or 11?
Okay.
The Titans had the 8th pick.
Yeah.
They passed.
Yeah.
On J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
Do you remember who they took?
211. That would have been the Locker
the
year.
8th pick, Jake
Locker, yeah.
Locker.
That would have been the Locker year.
What was he, 11?
Yep.
Yeah. The 8th pick, the Tennessee Titans select Jake
Listen,
Locker.
They were looking for a quarterback. We were here. We remember the market was thirsty. Everybody was ready. And that's the problem when you get quarterback thirsty is sometimes you go to the well when there is no water to drink. Yeah. But we got to get somebody, so you go first round on a guy that probably ain't first round material.
Probably? Let's see. Jake Locker or J.J. Watt? Jake Locker, J.J. Watt, Jake Locker.
Listen.
J.J. Watt.
If you want to go down the history of the draft, there's a whole bunch of stuff we can go over as far as who they should have picked with. And that's what's sort of fun about the draft. What's fun about the draft is sort of the redrafts. And maybe we should do that.
By the way, that
year.
2011 draft was really, not because in between that was Blaine Gabbert to Jacksonville.
Yeah, yeah.
But those picks before Jake Locker, ooh, boy, there was a whole lot of good in that 2011 draft.
But see, another quarterback hungry. The Jacksonville Jaguars were hungry.
Blaine Gabbert.
They needed a quarterback. There we are.
Yep. All right, we'll come back. More of the McFarland Show next here on Nashville Sports Radio.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
Before you know it, the holiday season will be upon us, so it's time to start planning. If you're having a holiday party or event this year, then you should consider the Omni Nashville Hotel. Have a festive holiday party for your company, family, or friends at the most luxurious location in Music City. All your guests will experience the award-winning service from their well-trained, courteous staff at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Rooms that are second to none, and venues that will be the envy of all your guests. For smaller gatherings, reserve the private dining room inside Kitchen Notes. For a fun party atmosphere, consider bar lines. And for high-end corporate entertaining, choose Bob's Steakhouse. You can't go wrong when you book your party at the Omni Nashville Hotel. For more information or inquire about availability, just call 615-782-5333. That's 615-782-5333. The Omni Nashville Hotel, Music City's holiday party destination.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
New Year's Eve in Nashville has a new twist this year.
Touchdown, right up the middle, 45 yards.
The 25th annual Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl is Saturday, December 31st at 11 a.m.
Still on his feet, touchdown!
Get your ticket to the biggest party in Nashville as the Iowa Hawkeyes and Kentucky Wildcats square off at Nissan Stadium. For more information on this year's game, including ticket availability, visit MusicCityBowl.com. Presented by the Tennessee Lottery.
Back here on the McFarland Show, again, want to apologize. All of you have been trying to call into the show to react. Hopefully, the rolling blackouts, and that's where I'm going with this, affected a lot of things here at the station and has affected a lot of the things here in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
The Titans were on an hour delay now.
Yes.
So, again, we are hoping that, and they're working, like you can call in and Devlin can talk to you, but
you can.
For whatever reason, we're not able to translate this on our end from us to you. Hopefully that'll be fixed tomorrow and we'll be able to get more of your reaction. But speaking of the rolling blackouts,
yeah,
there was an hour delay of the Titans game on
was.
Saturday with the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like, you know, your morning, that's your day job stuff. So I'm going to let you tell everybody what was going on with the hour delay, because I told you before the show, look, from somebody who isn't in that world like you, I didn't understand the point of an hour. Like, I get it. I understand the challenges that were being faced in the city. I understand the weather conditions that we were under.
Yeah.
But what did moving or delaying a game that was going to get played for an hour do?
If you read the mayor's statement, Nashville Mayor John Cooper.
No, I know, but I wanted I know what he's just giving political. He's giving. He's just. I don't want to hear from a politician. I want to hear from what's really going on.
Well, what's really going on is that the mayor's office does not want to face the questions about, well, why is it that the Titans were allowed to play at full power and I'm sitting over here in the dark?
Yep, got that.
I don't want to do that.
Sure.
So how about you delay the game a little bit? And originally, the mayor's message asked the Titans to postpone the game. Now, postpone would mean we're not going to play today. That's the way I take postpone to mean.
Yes.
That, like the Predators postponed their game
and they have to make
against
it up.
the Avalanche, I believe, a few weeks ago.
It was the day after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And so they had to, postpone that game. They'll play that game again later. They didn't play it that day because of the water leak there, the water main break.
The flood, yeah.
Flood. The Titans didn't postpone the game. I'm not sure if they could, if they wanted to at that particular moment. They were just a couple of hours before kickoff. Instead, they were able to delay the game by 1 hour. And even the Predators had to put out a little something because they played the night before at Bridgestone Arena. and the mayor's office had to put out something saying that the Predators played on a generator because, again, they did not want the appearance that the Titans and the Predators got to play in their facility, in their home, with all of their heat working and their lights on, and they're eating popcorn and, having a great time while everybody else is sitting in the dark. So the Predators had to put out something going, no, we were operating on a generator. It wasn't because we had electricity. We're just like everybody else. Same thing with the Titans. They had to say, oh, no. We're just like everybody else. We're just affected like everybody else. We're not part of this. And, we're here with we're standing with you, essentially, Nashville. The Titans could not delay the game or could not postpone the game. They delayed the game by an hour. And that was, I think, just a good gesture, good faith gesture, if nothing else. Now, did it have any actual impact on the
other
rolling
people?
Blackouts?
That's what I'm
or
getting
on other
at.
people?
Did it help
No,
anyone?
no.
Okay, so what are we doing this for then? That's my whole point.
I said symbolic and,
Okay, it's just for looks,
symbol,
optics,
solidarity and all that.
It sounds like optics. Sounds like window dressing to me.
Well,
because with not knowing, again, that's why I'm asking. I am trying to ask serious questions.
Yeah.
If it helped people, okay, then enough said.
Well,
but delaying the game an hour kickoff, did it help people? Did their power come on because of that?
No.
Was their lives impacted because of that?
No.
Then I
As
say,
a matter of fact,
good. But if it wasn't, then what are we doing?
TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority, and I'm not going to get on. Okay, TVA had already suspended the rolling blackouts before kickoff. Okay. So it wasn't even that, thank God the Titans decided not to play and the big video board wasn't going and that saved the electricity for everybody else. That is not the case. That simply just isn't true. TVA had already made the decision to stop the rolling blackouts even before that happened. So this was more of a symbol and really a way to keep people from saying, and people were saying it anyway, isn't it convenient that, the rolling blackouts stopped just as soon as it was time for kickoff for the Titans? As if TVA said, it's time for kickoff. We better stop this rolling blackout foolishness so the Titans can play football. I would hope and pray that TVA is not thinking or considering the Titans when it comes to their decision about whether or not to have rolling blackouts. I would hope that they are not thinking about such things.
I was at the game, the Predators game on Friday night against Colorado. I was down in the Lexus Lounge, which is my favorite place.
Yes.
And I can just tell you, their big wall of televisions, I guess the backup generator, they weren't working. So, no, it was because of the flood.
Yeah.
That's what I was, because I was like, it was weird down there. And
they had damage because of the flood that happened last month.
And I was like, why isn't the wall of TVs working? And it was like, that's still from the flood. That was from the water damage.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, listen, a lot of people are going to have a lot of questions about the blackouts, and rightfully so. All fingers from the mayor's office, from NES, they're all pointing back to the east down I-40 to this place called Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and that's where the Tennessee Valley Authority is located.
We all drive by it when we go to when we go to Knoxville or Pigeon Forge or
that is the
Gatlinburg.
place that supplies the electricity to NES. They do, and not just to NES, but to multiple utility companies, not just in Tennessee, but in several other states. And they're the ones who asked the power companies to cut back because they were trying to avoid massive blackouts that would have lasted for several hours across multiple states. That is what they're saying.
All right, we'll come back, and we will put a bow on Tuesday's edition of the McFarland Show next.
Hey guys, it's Zach. Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today to get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's free bets back if your bet doesn't win. Just sign up with our promo code TAS. There's so many great deals. You can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. And you get paid your winnings fast, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in in free bets, win or lose, with promo code TAS. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. In the state of Tennessee, you got to be 21 and up and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the TN Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
From the big game to the big dance, Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is your game day and watch party headquarters. Don't worry about entertaining guests and trying to feed everyone. Sit back, relax, cheer on your team, and let the Bar Line staff take care of you. Grab a Bar Line signature cocktail and enjoy some wicked deviled eggs or a Bar Line's double stack, and finish it off with some Jack and Coke chocolate cake. Bust your belly and your bracket at Bar Lines, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue downtown. Grizz Nation. Grind into the new year. Watch Ja, Jaren, and your Grizzlies take on the Pelicans Saturday at 7 p.m. Get there early in the first 5,000. Get Dylan Brooks sunglasses. Then stay tuned for back-to-back home games and catch your Grizz Sunday at 7 as they take on the Kings to kick off 2023. Get ready to celebrate a new year and get your tickets today by calling 901-888-HOOP or shopgrizzlies.com today. On your home for Memphis Grizzlies basketball. WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Memphis has opened up a can on Utah State. They're at the half, 24-3. Tigers go Memphis.
Down there and
Big D.
The First Responders Bowl down there in the campus of SMU. So
little programming note real quick.
Yeah.
We will be on the air on Friday. Just so we had this past Friday off, but we will be on the air on Friday. So Friday will be our last show of 2022, but they'll be coming off the Titans-Cowboys game at Nissan Stadium on Thursday night.
Yes.
The day before the Music City Bowl. The day
Saturday,
before all the college football playoffs. And so we got a lot of things to digest. So we will be on the air the rest of the week. So just wanted to pass that along.
Absolutely. Preds at home tonight as they will be hosting the Dallas Stars. Earlier in the program, if you were not with us, I was asking Darren here about a player for the Dallas Stars named Jason Robertson, who has scored 24 goals so far this year for the Dallas Stars. He's got 50 points, 24 goals, 26 assists for the Dallas Stars. Darren says he's 23 years old. He makes $31 million, just signed a brand new contract here. So he is
not per.
Not
it was
per.
A 4-year, $31 million deal.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So
I just don't want people to think
no.
$31 million a year.
No, he's not getting the baseball money.
He's not getting quarterback money.
No.
Yeah, or baseball money.
Or baseball money, shortstop money.
Yep.
So here's my question, Darren. He's one of those guys that you say he's that dude, okay? He's that dude for Dallas. How many that dudes are around? How hard is it to find Jason Robertson?
Well, he was actually not like Nathan McKinnon is that dude. He wasn't even playing Friday night for Colorado. Like Nathan McKinnon's out. Nathan McKinnon was the first pick in the draft.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? The Crosbys, those guys, the McDavids, those guys, you have to be the worst team in the league to get those guys. Although now there is a lottery system. But he was a second-round pick. He was a high second-round pick, but he was a second-round pick. He's just one of those.
So he's blossomed here.
He's just one of those guys that, Shea Weber was a second-round pick. It was one of those dudes, if you do a redraft, they're not drafted in the second round.
He would go a lot higher.
Yeah.
Is there one of these guys in every draft? In every draft, is there a franchise changer in every draft in the NHL?
It's interesting.
Serious question because I don't know.
We could spend a show, and I've talked about this over the years. We could spend an entire show. And we could just say, since the Predators have been in existence here, right?
Yeah.
I could go back through every draft, picks 1 through, let's say, 3. Or even like the first 2 picks, okay?
Yeah.
It is amazing. I don't know how. It doesn't make any sense to me, like how because they're spanning the globe to find players, right?
Sure.
It's not just watching college hockey and drafting like in other sports. But the amount of guys, like the failure rate to success rate with those like first 2 picks would blow your mind.
Okay.
I would read names, you'd be like, dang, really?
Yeah.
It was just, one home run pick. It was like game changers, franchise changers.
Sure.
It is weird how hockey seems to have a better, they're able to hit a lot more, I feel like.
Okay.
Anyway.